This time, I'm going to go through this really shortly. This is not really a chronological order. A lot of things here overlap. So I hold a master's degree in psychology, and after finishing college, this was actually interesting and connected to the subject. I felt like I'm not a full psychologist. You know, what if somebody come to me and say, okay, so now you're a psychologist, what do you think about? And then he tells a story. I was always thinking I should know the answer. Now I know that I don't need to know the answer because I wasn't talking to that people. So I really don't know. But still, I was feeling kind of, I don't know, like I lack tools to help people. Like I'm not a full psychologist. Even though I never wanted to work as a psychologist. From the start of the college, I always wanted to be in the HR. But still, you know, I'm a half of a psychologist. Maybe that was an imposter syndrome, I don't know. I wasn't actually thinking about that concept back then. I'm not even sure if I was familiar with that concept back then. But anyhow, I went to this William Glasser International for Psychology and Lead Management, so additional school, and I'm glad I did. Psychotherapy really helps, but this lead management really helps now when I'm in a managerial role. And I actually got a job in the human resources, most of the time inside of the IT industry, but I was also in automotive, IoT, and shortly in retail, and also professor at private university. Here I also had that moment, can I do that? Like, you know, go and teach somebody something. It was a bit scary at the beginning, but once when I did the first lesson, then I was like, okay, this is not so hard. I can do that, I'm fine. But I'm glad that I had courage to start. And currently I'm also mentor at Croatian Psychological Chamber, which is really interesting. I'm mentoring young, mostly women. I don't know. It's because, I don't know, probably psychology. Almost everybody is women there. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about perfectionism, self-rejection, and imposter syndrome, and how everything is actually connected. I guess you know a lot about this. You Googled a lot, I guess. Okay. So first of all, being perfect or having a need to be perfect, it can be good, it can be bad. It's really good if it actually gives you that extra motivation, motivation to be better every time when you are doing something, when it serves you like some kind of healthy driving force. But it can be bad if there is too much of that driving force or motivation. It can be bad when you start to think that if something is not perfect, then it should not be, you know, out in front of other people. If task is not at 100%, then you're not happy. You are not ever happy. And actually that 100% is always in your head, and you are not even sure how that 100% looks like, and you are not actually happy, like ever, never. Okay, about self-rejection. Self-rejection actually starts with setting unrealistic standards for yourself. And when you do that, you're actually afraid of failure, which is normal because standards are unrealistic. You're setting the standards, and at the same time, you know that they are not realistic. This is also some kind of a self-defense. If I put my standards here, and I do here, I was like, okay, because I know this was too big. Of course, I didn't reach the standards, but still, other half of you is saying, but you know, I should be here. Maybe other people are here, and then you do the circle of self-criticism. I should be here. I should not be there. Like goal is realistic, unrealistic, and you do like this all the time. Or actually better to say like this, because every time you fail, you feel worse, and every time you fail, you have less certainty that next time you are going to be better. And what happens then? When you are uncertain about yourself, you seek for external validation, right? And there you actually depend on other people around you and what people do. When somebody makes comments, that comments are mostly about them, not you. When somebody tells you there's no way you can do that, really, maybe there is no way that that person cannot do that thing you're trying to do. Maybe you really can. So it's really important to separate content from the person who is telling that content. But when you are feeling bad about yourself, when you are low, and when you hear that kind of feedback about yourself, you're not certainly thinking, oh, who said what said? You're doing this all over again. And this actually leads to isolation and avoidance, especially avoidance. This doesn't mean that you're avoiding people. You're avoiding situations. You're avoiding some tasks at job. You're avoiding maybe to apply for a better job because you think you are not good enough. And this has really, really huge impacts on mental health. I believe you could see that at least one person in your environment is suffering from this. Yeah, this is, who has kids here? Okay, so I watch a lot of cartoons, that's why here's a quote from Kung Fu Panda, but it's a nice one. I really like this one. So, if you only do what you can do, you'll never be more than you are now. True, right? Yeah, this is really nice. This is maybe a good example of this is when you are, for example, HR specialist. I'm the HR, so I'm going to do that kind of examples. So if you're an HR specialist and there is, I don't know, 2 other HR specialists inside of the department, and all of a sudden you have opportunity to be HR manager. So somebody from the department, is from the HR specialist, is going to become an HR manager. And you're like, I think I could do it. No, okay, no, maybe not. And then they say, oh, Dragica is the new HR manager. And then you're like, Dragica, Jesus, I'm like twice better than she is. I have twice more knowledge and everything. I'm so much better than her, but yet she's an HR manager. Why? Because you're hiding in the corner, questioning yourself, while Dragica is all there saying, see, I did this, I did that. She's not questioning herself. She's there. And on every job you will have one Dragica, and on every job you are not going to get promoted because you're hiding in the corner. People tend to, blame situation. For example, in this company, you can only go to that managerial position if you are like, I don't know, showman. You're trying that everybody sees what you are doing, but that is actually not true. It's really easy to blame situation. It's really hard to look at yourself and your behavior. So Dragica is not problem here. We are. Don't blame Dragica. Okay, imposter phenomenon. This is really interesting. So psychological researches show that actually 70% of the people have this syndrome at least once in their life, and it's not connected to a gender, it's not connected with age, it's not connected with profession. This is something that is really going on all over the world, and if you have it now, you're not the only one. This is really, really, really common, really common. And this is also interesting. So here are 5 subgroups of imposter syndrome. So if you think that you are walking that way, maybe you will find yourself in maybe 2 or 3 of these categories, but one will be completely strong. So it's not weird if you end up in a couple of these. It's not tragic. It's also normal. Don't panic. Okay. So perfectionist. You set extremely high standards for yourself and beat yourself up when you don't reach them. Yeah, this is like, so clear situation. Perfectionism at his best, right? This is not weird. So here, the good thing here is that, way to help yourself is to actually see that sometimes good is good enough. If something is not at 100%, maybe it doesn't have to be. Maybe all things that you're doing don't have to be at 100%. Sometimes really good is good enough. It really depends, right? Okay, superwoman. You feel you should be able to excel at every role you take in your life. So I bet here we have at least 3 superwomen. I should be perfect employee, perfect manager, perfect mother, perfect friend, perfect daughter. I should be perfect everything, right? So if we compare perfectionist with superwoman or superman, the difference is with perfectionist, the biggest question is how something is done. So it should be done perfectly, right? Perfect or nothing. But with superwoman and superman, it's not only how, but also how many. So this person will be really unhappy if she or he is a perfect employee, but at the same time not perfect mother or perfect father. So everything needs to be at 100%. It's hard to say no. If you say no to something from some role, then you feel like you're failing. So you're trying to keep all roles in your life like here at 100%, which is not possible. Life is really fast and you have so much things to do on your daily basis. Sometimes you're tired when you come back from work and you don't have, you can be like minimum, you can give minimum of politeness to the people that you live with, and you cannot be 100% all the time, and that's fine. The expert. You expect to know everything and feel ashamed when you don't. How can you easily recognize the expert at the workplace? Any ideas? Do you have experts at your workplace?
They need to over-prepare.
Always sorry.
And no, they're never sorry. They can only be ashamed, but never sorry.
They tell that they know everything better than you.
Okay.
I think so.
They don't use Google, but they know.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or ChatGPT, yeah. So that's actually closer to this natural genius. It's really interesting also. Yeah. So the experts, Nikolina was the closest with the answer. So expert is actually the person who, if you want to promote that person from specialist to manager, that person will demand 25 courses, 10 books, I don't know, like 4 months on YouTube with all the videos. That person really needs to be over-prepared. That person needs to feel that he knows everything about, like, everything considering that role. And if he doesn't, he will feel like a failure. If he make a mistake, then it will be, that's because I didn't went to that, I don't know, 21st course. So expert really demands a huge developmental budget from HR. Okay, soloist. You believe work must be accomplished alone and refuse to take credit if you receive any kind of assistance. They are not really team players. It's actually not a problem to play in a team, but they will not take credit for anything they've done if anybody helps them. Even 100%. It's not them. It's not them, and they're really ashamed that they didn't do it at 100%. So everything has to be at 100%. Natural genius. You tell yourself that everything must be handled with ease, otherwise it's not natural talent. So if we compare expert and natural talent actually thinks that he should be born with all knowledge and experience. Experience, of course, born with experience. It's a crucial part. So with natural genius, it's not a problem that he starts to learn something, but he feels bad if he doesn't learn it in 5 minutes. If something is too hard, then do we have a natural genius there? Okay. Okay. So it will really help for a natural genius, I'm not going to say names right now, is to realize that some things are really more complex than some other things. So maybe it will take 2 days to learn something, but it may take 2 months to learn something else. So nobody is born with knowledge, especially not experience. So it's okay to learn, and it's okay when some things take time. Okay. How many super women here? Yeah. Okay. Okay, enough about problems. Here are some solutions. Okay. So, embracing imperfection. First of all, setting realistic goals. Okay, so if you think you're good at setting goals, how can you know if they're realistic? How? When you try and you fail, then you see that they were not realistic. Somebody was there before, right?
Maybe you can think like this target is, you can come to the target with ease, so without or.
Maybe then it was too easy.
But still, it's target and you can achieve it.
Yeah,
So
definitely
small
realistic.
pieces.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
Okay.
you're able to divide them in steps, maybe not easy steps, but you're able to divide it into small steps.
Still and conquer.
Yeah. Okay. And Anthony actually had a great point to check with somebody. Maybe somebody went there already and know what is realistic to accomplish in a month, in a 2, or I don't know, maybe a day if something is simple. Challenging black and white thinking helps with perfect behaviors. This is that part that it's not all or nothing. If something is not 100%, it's still fine. It doesn't have to be 100%. So when you catch yourself in a thought, this has to be perfect, does it really? Does every task need to be perfect at your job? Maybe some tasks are not really important. So it's not really black and white. Life is mostly gray area. So everything above, I would say 60% is really fine. You don't have to go 100% all the time. Unless clients are unhappy, then you have to go 110. Okay. Also, reframing a mindset towards mistakes help. So mistake is not the end of the world. It's a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes, right? So mistake is actually opportunity to learn. So if you reframe your mind like from mistake being the end of the world and embarrassment and everything bad to, okay, I will not do this again. Okay, luckily this was in front of 2 people, not 200 people. This is my opportunity to learn. I can share this with somebody else and help him not to do this mistake as I did. Then we are fine. And this is actually connected with the next, which is to celebrate progress. So if today you are at 50% of something, tomorrow you are going to be at 60, and don't be unhappy because you are not at 80 or 100, magic number. It's okay to celebrate progress. Eventually you are going to get there. And also develop self-compassion. We are really, really bad at this. So imagine that you do a mistake, and the same mistake your friend did. So you'll probably be really, really compassionate towards your friend and be like, okay, it's okay, it doesn't matter, it will pass, in 2 days nobody will remember, okay, you learn now, you're not going to do it again. But when it comes to us, we are like, stupid. What's wrong with you? How? And we are really, really bad towards ourselves. So it would be really nice that we consider how would we act if that was somebody else who did that mistake. I'm sure that we will be at least a bit more polite, right? Okay. I like this quote from Oprah. Whose lie about yourself did you believe? I really like this. When you're listening to others but not listening to yourself. Yeah. So self-rejection, limit social comparison. This is a huge issue for the last, I don't know how many years, mostly because of the social media, we are fed up with perfect lives everywhere. Like so many women are always looking perfect, they're perfect twice, they take pictures of perfect lunches and their careers are perfect, everything is perfect, but it's not really, come on, it is not. But we are so easy to forget that it's not a real life. They are trying to do a PR for themselves, and they're actually making money. It's their job to look perfect, to others. The job is that pictures are perfect. That's it. Just realize that pictures, not them. Challenge negative self-talk. So when you start with I'm bad, I'm a failure, I'm never going to do this at 100%, like everything bad about yourself, then stop. And this is connected to the other, acknowledge achievements. There is something that you've done good in your life, right? Not everything is bad. So if you make one mistake, it's fine. It's fine. Just try to remember everything good that you did before. And this is actually also one common human characteristic, even in the relationships, all kinds of relationships, is that we tend to forget 50 good things when one bad happen, right? And we are like, see, this is not working well. And what about 50 other things that were good? We forget at that point. That's the same that we are doing to ourselves when we do something that we are not happy with. Surround yourself with positivity. This doesn't mean that you should wear pink glasses or hang out with people who wear pink glasses. It's also black and white, so it's not really good. You should always try to keep it realistic. But this is actually about what I mentioned before, that you should think of who really, who keeps you down or brings you down, and who is trying to lift you up. When you come with some idea, I don't know, I want to be an HR manager. Who will tell you, what? Really, you? Come on, are you sure? Is that really for you? But somebody else will say, oh, great, let's, I don't know, search for jobs together on LinkedIn, whatever. I think you'll be good. You were always great with people. I can see you with that spot. So it really depends on that feedback. Sometimes we really do need some kind of a little push. Focus on personal growth. So with self-rejection, we tend to think that we don't know a lot of stuff, and that's why we don't want to go into something new. But sometimes this is really realistic. So maybe this HR specialist who wants to be an HR manager really lacks some knowledge of something. Okay, so it's not time to sit and cry in the corner because you don't know something. It's time to find some kind of a course or a mentor and learn that. It's fine. Okay, so if you put energy in personal growth, as much energy as you put in negative self-talk, I bet you could use that time a bit better. Okay, so this is an example of self-rejection. Imagine that I'm a HR specialist. I have 7 years of experience and I want to become an HR manager, and this is part of job description requirements, shorten. Not even one look, just like that, so we add more. But imagine that I'm that person. So I will try to, say what would say a person who is under that self-rejecting behavior, but what would say a person who is not. So I'm reading now that job description. So 7+ years of experience in the field of human resources. So if I really like self-rejecting, now I will say, okay, 7 years. I have 7 years of experience, but, it's always a but. If I subtract vacations, if I subtract sick leave, and I don't know, that one day when I had a flat tire and I was actually working 6 hours, not 8, I don't really have 7 years of experience, right? Okay, but if you have another person who is not engaged in this self-rejecting behaviors, then I will say 7 years of experience. Oh, hey, I have 7, but probably for this position of a manager, a lot of other people with a lot more experience will probably apply. But, here my but, in that 7 years, I think I've been through more things than most of the HR. I wasn't doing just hiring and onboarding. I was part of development of the people. I was included in employer branding. I know administration. I know labor law. So probably I know like I'm working 10 years, not 7. You know, I wasn't flipping the same paper for 7 years. So I think I'm fine with this 7 years. Okay. Next one. Highly developed communication skills. So what would a person who is into self-rejecting think about this one? What do you think? Everybody can talk, right? Yeah. Well, maybe that person would say, yeah, okay, but there are some days when I don't want to even talk to myself. So, I don't know, maybe I have average communication skills, but for this role of manager, I should probably have highly developed communication skills, so no, also fail, right, okay. And this other person, highly developed communication skills? Okay, that person might say, okay, since I'm HR specialist, I was never giving feedback, I don't know how to do it, but I think my strength is that I can find a mutual language with practically everybody. I can talk to everybody. I think that's going to help me in my new position of the HR manager. And about this feedback, I think I'm going to take a course to see how that giving feedback goes, right? It's okay. Then, cooperative and team-oriented person. What would self-rejecting behavior said here? They will see how much I don't know. Yeah, this is my first time as an HR manager. So if I work in a team of other managers, they will see that I don't know. I don't know how to do a budget. It will be embarrassing. I cannot work at a team. I like working at a team, but not team of managers. It's too much for me right now. Right? Another person, happy person. Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, everybody's working in a team. There are like 2 tasks from 10 tasks, I did it myself. Everything else is actually teamwork. You're constantly pinging somebody for something. It's fine, everything is teamwork. I'm fine, I'll be fine. This is like normal situation. You know, when I hang out even with my friends, it's also a team. I'm used to people around me, that's fine. I'm not even going to, you know, waste a minute to think about this. Okay, English level, upper intermediate. Well, I didn't have really chance, you know, to speak English at my current job. I think I forget most of this. So maybe it's average, but upper, you know, managerial role, no. I'm a bit afraid. It will take me a year to come back to, I don't know, that level that I was at, I don't know, university or whatever. And the happy person, well, I was learning English for 10 years. Maybe I just need a couple of, you know, lessons to jog my memory, and I'll be fine. Okay, move on. Ability to organize the team and delegate tasks. Maybe this time this person will say, well, actually, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. I'm excellent at delegating tasks. I'm so good at this. But why? It's because I'm lazy. And it will take them a month to see how lazy I am. That's why I'm really good at organizing team and delegating tasks, so it's a still no-go for me. Okay. Okay, do you see like the difference? This person will always find a but. And this step of manager is always scary. This person will see that she's not good at giving feedback. She maybe doesn't have upper level of English. Maybe it's not, I don't know, highly developed something, but it's willing to learn. And what is happening at most of the vacancies, I can say it from the side of the HR, we never receive perfect resume. Maybe really good is good enough. That's why you should never self-reject. click apply button. Apply. They will reject you if they don't think you're good enough. You don't have to do it for them. So don't do that rejection before official rejection. So there are better chances that you're going to get the job if you apply, for sure. If you don't apply, you're not going to get it. Okay. Imposter syndrome. People are embarrassed to say that they feel like imposter. Because this is mostly happening from managerial level up, so low management and up. So it's really important for that kind of people to realize that it's normal. It's really happening to 70% of the population, and it really helps when you acknowledge and accept those feelings. And when you're okay with yourself, okay, I really feel like an imposter here. What can I do to help myself? That's the first step, always acknowledging that you really do have a problem. Normalize mistakes. This is really from that, perfect 100%. So even if you're a manager, it doesn't mean that you are not allowed to do mistakes. Maybe the problem is when you're a manager, your mistakes are probably with the bigger consequences, but still, it's a mistake. There is not one manager in this world who didn't make a mistake. That's it. Develop a growth mindset, also connected again with making mistakes. Okay, next time I'm going to be smarter. I'm not going to do this mistake. This is not the end of the world. I'm not going to, die of embarrassment because of this. Everything is fine. Everybody is doing mistakes. See constructive feedback. So if you're not really sure, are you imposter or not? You're probably not, but in a head some different things are going on. If you're not sure, why don't you ask your manager, how am I doing? Am I doing fine these tasks? Do you think there are some rooms for improvement? You can ask your peers, you can ask, whoever, just ask. Because when you only have that one opinion, which is only yours, and you're really like self-criticism, maybe that opinion is not really a picture of reality. And professional help. So when do you think it's time for professional help? How can you know that you cannot help to yourself and that nobody can help you, but you really need to seek professional help?
When you're overthinking a lot and you can't break through this cycle.
When it's actually paralyzing you from doing your job.
Okay. I had this feeling when I was working and feel myself I can do this work in an hour, but it took me a week because I just repeatedly going into my deeper minds, even overthinking, and sometimes you just need a rest and professional help as well.
Yeah, balance for sure. Yeah, okay. Any other ideas?
Yeah, but you still need someone to tell you that you need some professional help, I believe. You cannot realize that you are on that stage, so okay, I need someone to help
The
me.
body will
So,
tell as well. The body will tell as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You're going to break down. Immune system really shows when you're under a lot of stress. Yeah. And actually also, if price of psychotherapy doesn't change your mind, then you probably need psychotherapy. Okay. Oh, here are some names with imposter syndrome that they actually are, talking in public about having problems with this imposter syndrome. So to conclude, okay, no, I'm fine. Okay, so to conclude, this is all this, being perfect, self-rejecting behaviors and imposter syndrome are actually happening more than we think. People are ashamed to talk about that. That's why we think they're not happening. They are, but just, in silence, which is even worse. So it is happening to other people. It's okay to talk about it. It's not embarrassing to seek for help. And the most important thing, it's solvable at 100% cases. So this is not a reason to continue having panic attacks for 5 years, because this can be solved in like 6 months. Okay. Okay. Questions.
Yes. Do you have any tips to overcome anxiety which comes with changing positions, going to another role? Everybody feels this anxiety, and maybe it's like a crutch for them. It's not like the big anxiety when you have to go, seek for help, but every day you feel it for a certain period of time. Do you have any tips how to overcome this?
Yeah, breathe. No, joking. No, yeah, it is really stressful situation, changing a job, because you know that you need to prove yourself, to all other to all other people. You need to catch a lot of information. It's really, really, really stressful. Maybe it will help to see that in that company you are not the first new employee. So they are really aware of the fact that you don't know people, you don't know who to ask for help, you don't have information, so you don't know processes, you don't know anything. And also it will help to remember all the achievements you had on previous jobs. So, I'm not stupid. I've done these things before, and maybe this is not that person's first time enter a new job. It's probably, I don't know, second, third, it doesn't matter. So if 3 times everything went well, why would 4th time crashed?
My anxiety is, acceptable, then I can rationalize it, but every time when I take on a new project, I'm doing something much larger than I did before, I always feel this anxiety for a longer period of time.
How much longer?
A month.
Okay, maybe we are here dealing with perfect 100% person. People are different. So if you can function under that type of anxiety, if you still see it as a driving force, not something that is blocking you from, thinking, from doing your job, it also can be solvable, but it's not something for, psychotherapy or some special tools or something. It's just some people are really hard with accepting changes. New project is also a change. Yeah, so maybe you should, when you're thinking about all your previous achievements, maybe you should think even, wider, and see what other changes you successfully managed and survived, and it was fine. When you start thinking like that once, it will be easier every time. Brain is really lazy. Brain is always going the same paths. So if you really have that deep one path that you went on like 100 times, it's your automatic path. It's automatic thoughts because it saves energy for a brain. And then that's why it's really hard at the beginning to reframe your thoughts. But every other time is going to be easier for you. Okay. Other?
Maybe one question. More was it has something in common with the previous, but when you're in interviews, how to feel confident and not to compare yourself with other candidates, or not to be afraid to not to know some answers to some questions because it's a new company, new position, even if it's the same position but it's a new project and it has some details. And then some tips for the interview, how to feel confident, and maybe if you have that, that you have that imposter syndrome sometimes, how to handle it and how to listen to it.
Well, first of all, preparation. When you have a job description, when you have a job description, go through every bullet, because that is what they're going to ask you. In that requirements is actually 70% of the questions from the job interview, because they require you to have that. So of course they're going to check if you have that, and have stories around that. Have some examples. Examples are really good. What else would help? Realizing that you don't need to know everything, really. And maybe remember that story that I was telling earlier about that not even one candidate is perfect. Nobody's going to know all the answers. It's not possible. It's really not possible. Even if you are working at the project with 10 other people, there is some detail that you missed. There is some detail that somebody else missed. It's a lot of information. It's really okay not to know everything. But I think that preparation is big key here.
Can I share our story? For my first interview, so I was in the company for 13 years, and I decided to leave the company, and my first interview in my life was with Suzana. And
She survived.
So I never applied the job because I worked like a student. It was a student job, and then I got offer. And I remember she asked some questions, and I remember I said, I don't know, like it can be this like this, and so. So another question, my answer was,
I don't know.
I don't know. And at the end, I could put it, so I didn't know answer for any question you asked. So on the end, they hired me, and
Yeah, what you should remember at any job interview, especially when you get to that stage when you are talking to hiring manager, not HR, is that hiring manager is actually looking for a part of his team. That person, that hiring manager, is going to work with you. So personality really counts. It's really easy to learn something, but you cannot learn to be different person. So my universal thought about how to prepare yourself for the interview is actually the hardest one, is be yourself. Yeah, but how can you be yourself when you are under a lot of pressure and stuff? But maybe you should consider thinking like, if I don't show myself as I really am, I will be sorry if I don't get the job, because they did not really reject me. If they saw me, maybe I will get the job. You're going to feel really sorry. So that energy that goes to, oh my God, I'm going to fail. Maybe you should think, okay, after this I'm going to get a coffee. I'm going to, act normal. Try to be yourself. It's a conversation. If you don't know something, you don't know something. For example, I really prefer to get an answer I don't know rather than a lot of shit. That because that kind of persons who don't want to say that they don't know something, but they're willing to build a story around it, are really dangerous at work, because they will do mistake. They will never ask for help. They will do mistake over a mistake. And when you realize after 2 weeks how many that mistakes are there, Jesus, it's really bad. But when you see that person is saying, I don't know, great, then it's here. It's this point of time, not here. And then that person learns and there are no mistakes. So some really serious problems can happen because of that type of persons who never ask, because they know everything. It's really dangerous. So it's really fine to say, no, I'm not really familiar with this. I was never working with this. But you can also, if you see inside of this job the description that you have worked with something, maybe you can think of something similar, something really close to it. Then when they ask, you can say, okay, no, actually, I never done that, but I was part of something. I was doing, I was watching, I was participating. You can always pull something really similar and maybe say that will help me to, I don't know, figure out faster this thing that you have or ask. But you cannot think of that creative solutions if you're under pressure. You can only think of, no, I don't know that. That's it. Brain doesn't go further.
And since we're already sharing stories, send in the applications. Even if you get rejected, you might end up like the two of us. Because she rejected me.
Yeah, I rejected her. Still, we're fine.
So it all turns out fine in the end, because life is long and full of gray areas and
yeah, definitely.
surprises.
Yeah.
surprises.
Yeah, she will. I'm at this moment today. I'm still sure that she will be unhappy at that job
Yeah.
because of her personality, and she agreed. So she ended up in the place where she really should be. Yeah, so it's not how it is. It's not rejection. Is redirection,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's it. More stories or comments?
I think you deserve an applause.
Thank you. Thank you.